Hello and welcome to Healthy Knitting. My name is Rosie. Today is March 22nd, 2016, and this is Healthy Knitting. Did I say that? I don't know. It's been a while since I've podcasted and I kind of forget how to do these things. Natalia is coming over to say hello. You can find me on Ravelry as LESPETITSLUXCS. There is a healthyknitting.wordpress.com site, and there is also a healthy knitting group on Ravelry. So hello, this little kitty cat, Natalia, who many of you know, is starved for attention right now. So she's going to be a little bit of a pest. She came out bugging me and has been licking my fingers, and oops, it's freezing. I'm actually trying to, it did it. I recorded a while ago, I don't remember which date, and I never put it through into the world where you can find it. I don't know how this happens. I think I had to leave and I thought I uploaded it, and then, one thing leads to another, and then it's kind of like, oh, I never did that. So I will upload it, so you will see an episode before this one, because I had a finished object in there that I showcased on, and I wanted you to see it. I don't have a lot to show you. I've been working a lot, which is why I haven't been podcasting. And when I did get a day off, I just needed to rest, and I didn't want to deal with podcasting. So that is how it goes. I apologize. I've only been working on one item. I did ball up some things, and I have some projects that are in the queue that as soon as I finish this one, I will get started on, and we'll probably work through rather quickly. I'm trying to get some things made for the nice weather that's going to be coming. This has been the most warmest, wonderful winter we've had in a long time. And we've had 70-degree weather. I live in the northeast of the United States, and this is typically not the time of the year when it's 70. It's not even typically the time of the year, well, right now. There's always 2 weeks in March when it's nice and in the 60s. But our winter, we didn't have to plow. There was any snow that did fall, melted the next day. We are a little short on water, but it has been raining a little bit, which has been nice because we do need the rain. But the weather during the day has been exceptional, absolutely exceptional. And can you see that little monster face? She has a little icky thing under here. I let her out the other day, and she wound up getting a tick. And I didn't realize it until the other night. And I was like, what is under your chin? She had been trying to get it off and was scratching her skin. So she has a little bit of a boo-boo. The tick is now gone. I did remove it, and it's healing up rather nicely. As you can see, I have a couple kitties with me over there. Who is this? Who can you see? I just moved out of the way. Hold on. That's Isabella. She's so beautiful. She's the biggest one of the kittens. And I think there's two over here. Oh no, just one. Hello, Bunkin. There's a little face. This is Violetta. And I have Alphonse down here. You see a little orange head right here. He's so cute. He loves to sit with me when I knit, and doesn't really seem to be too interested in the needles these days, which is good because they were stealing them all the time. The bags are helping. So this is my giant, huge bag that I could move laundry in, for God's sake. And can you see all the cat hair on it? They've been laying on it. You probably can't see it. I leave it on the table here to knit. Can I have some space, love? And they lay on it, which is fine because then they're not really doing anything to my knitting. I have a very big project here. I am almost finished. I had a little slow of a start, so you really only saw a little bit of the collar when I started. And I don't have anything pulled up on the iPad. Sorry. I am making, hang on. Okay. The Birnam Wood Capelet, and that is by Rosemary Hill, Romy, or Romy, however she says her name. And this is from Interweave Knits 2010. I'm using yarn. I'm using Classic Elite Moorland right here. And it is a combination of 42 fine merino, 23 baby alpaca, 19 mohair, and 16% acrylic. Now I've talked about this yarn a little bit. It's loosely spun. It's not plied, so it's almost like Rowan tapestry. It's almost like a Lopi. It's a little softer than a Lopi, but holy cow, is it a pain in the behind to knit with. And I did sell a bunch of it. I sold like 3 different colors. I have 2 more colors. I am going to keep it because as long as I'm just knitting and purling, it's not really a problem. But doing those cables, it is a bit of a chore, and so it has been slogging. I know it's been a while since I've recorded, so, well, you didn't even see that one yet. Well, you may. I'm going to post it before I post this one, so they'll come out together. But all I showed you basically was the collar. So you knit this top down. This is not a free pattern, so I don't want to give a lot away, but you knit this pattern, you pick up stitches, and you knit. Now, I got a little confused because the charts, although they're easy now, when I first did them, they just didn't seem that intuitive, and I messed up the increases, and I had to go back and rip out like a whole 8 rows of pattern repeat. And then started over and realized that I made a mistake again and do it all over again. So it was a bit of a slow start, but I do like it. I can't stretch it out for you because my needle is not long enough. And last night, just so that I could see how long it was, from the collar down, I actually put it on 3 separate needles, and it still wasn't long enough to spread it out completely because it's going to go around. There are nice little pleats in here. I think you can probably see that. And there are seed stitch pleats, which actually make it so that there's a little bit of room to move around, but then when you're not spread out, it's not floppy, which I thought was pretty ingenious. And the way she added in the last repeat, or the one in the center, because you make your start of the cables coming down, the way she added that, I thought was really, really ingenious. And although some of the pattern did not make sense to me at the time, it was fine. It just, my brain sometimes when I'm tired and I'm knitting wasn't working. The other thing I wanted to say was I used this as my cable needle, and most of the time I don't use a cable needle. But because this yarn is so splitty, there was no way I could not use a cable needle. So I have a broken Knit Picks Harmony double point, and I don't even remember what. This is my normal sock size, and I broke it because I break those needles all the time, the wood ones. That's why I've got metal ones now. I'd put them in my bag, and then I'd throw in my bag, and then I'd sit on it, and then I'd break needles. So I'm a little more careful now with my needles and not sitting on them because this time they would hurt a lot since they're metal. So it does have a little bit of a, where am I? I don't know if you can, I'm going to rotate it. So see that little miff at the top? It kind of catches the yarn a little bit. I do slip the yarn off the point, and then I will knit it off this back end. And I've kind of made it so that it doesn't really mess up too much. Anyway, the yarn is still coming off it. I don't push it on that side, otherwise it would mess up the yarn. Somehow this got jammed under a book that's over here, and I didn't see it. So then I started using my chibi, my little darning needle. And this actually worked really well. Although it's heavy, maybe a plastic one would probably work a little bit better, but I've had these, oh my God, probably 30 years. And they were my mom's before they were mine, so I kind of just like to have these. I don't lose them. I keep them very safe and secure. I don't lend them out, and I don't leave them anywhere. They're either in my knitting or they're in my little box that I keep my knitting supplies in. But this worked great because the tip is big, so it doesn't fall through, but it was easy to get the yarn off and knit off this tip. So if you're ever in a pinch, just know you can use one of these or a broken needle. That works really well. This Natalia really feels like she's totally never gets any attention. What else did I want to tell you about this? I'm confused a little bit in the pattern because I see that other people's are really long, and I was already at the point where I should have been finished lengthwise from the collar down, and I still hadn't knit 2 full repeats and 6 rows. The repeats are eight. So I'm like, that's just really weird. But when I put it on, it only came up to here. And I was like, well, that doesn't look like anybody's picture either. So I don't know if there's a problem with that or if I'm just not understanding anything correctly, which happens a lot with me reading knitting patterns. So I'm just going to finish up. I only have one more ball of yarn, and here, I'll show you how much I have left, because this is it. This is all the yarn I have left. I could probably get through. I have the 8, and so 14 repeats and then a bind off. If it looks like when I get to the 6 that I can't bind off, I'm just, or finish and bind off, I'm just gonna bind off, and that's that, because I would rather make sure that it goes to where she said the last repeat, and maybe block it a little longer if it's a little too short. But that's all I have left. It was eight balls is what I started with. And you know, it kept growing every time you do it because you have to increase the pleats. And it got to the point where I think each 2 rows is about 45 minutes. And I'm a fast knitter. This is just like slogging along. I should be done by the next time I podcast, which will be next week. Oh, will I not be able to podcast on Tuesday? No, I won't be able to podcast Tuesday. I've got something going on all week. It's going to be crazy busy. So probably the week after I'll be able to podcast, and I should have this done by the weekend anyway. And then I'll have some new things to show you. So that'll be really fun. Maybe I'll get some really good progress. I can work the next things that I'm going to make are really quick, easy tops. I just want some tops for the summer. So that is my capelet. And it's all bunched up. I wish I could show you. It's actually this yarn, once I have it knit up, you can kind of tell that there's acrylic in it, only because the mohair kind of looks a little bit acrylic-y sometimes. But it is soft. It's not super soft. You can definitely tell that it's an outerwear kind of yarn. Like I would never make this into a scarf. But as a coat on top of a shirt, sure, I think that would work just fine. I haven't decided what I'm going to make with those other two colors of Moorland that I have, but I will use it. I think it's going to be versatile this time of the year to wear this. So that is that. I left some knitting out, and I think I told you that I wasn't going to do that because those little monsters right there are so god awful with ripping things apart with your fingers. So I wanted to show you something that I left on the couch. And now this is the hitchhiker. Hang on. And all right, I'm not dreaming. This is a hole. I don't want to pull it. There he goes. See that? Stitches undone, yarn broken, pulled up and then broke. And I think there's another hole somewhere here that I need to fix. It might be on your side. Oh, here's just another pull that I need to work in and be very careful with it. So don't leave your knitting out. Oh, here's another one. And I'm not sure if I think this might be broken too. I'm not sure. Here's more pulls. Yeah, kittens don't go so well with knitting. Right? Here is Greyjoy. Come here, honey. Come here. Here. Sorry. Ouch. Come here. She talks. You want to talk? You want to say hello? She has this cry that sounds like there's something wrong with her, but there really isn't. She's had it ever since she was a kitten. You gonna make the cry? She's all scared. She's like, I don't know what you're doing, but you're crazy. I don't even know. Come here, honey. I don't even know what I wanted to talk about today. I kind of thought of a whole bunch of things, and then I don't know. I almost didn't record today, but I'm like, let me just do this and get this done. So that's all I have. I haven't done any spinning. I did actually clean up my basement, which was good because my basement was a disaster. I couldn't get at anything if I wanted to. And I do have some plans. It's not the focus of the things that I need to do right now. I did want to show you something that was really interesting though. I think I told you in my basement I have a snake, and I don't know where it is, and I hope that it's okay because I don't want to see the cats catch it and kill it. But look what they dragged up from downstairs. It's another snake skin. I've already removed 2 huge snake skins that were about this long, about 1.5 to 2 feet long, and I put them outside. And then this one almost looks like when the snake was coming out, it was wrapping around itself, you know, to make a circle. Can you see that? I've never seen it like that before. See? So the kitties found that. I don't know where they found it. They also found a mouse the other night, and I was sitting here, and I was, yes, little boy. There's Alphonse. Hang on. He's being super cute. He's such a doll. I was sitting here, and you can always tell when they have something because they don't act the same. Like a toy is something different. They bat it around, they move. But this was like all the cats jumped and were like whoosh. And so here's this terrified mouse. It was a big one too. It was like about this big. Usually they'll get the little ones. It was a big mouse, and it was just like, holy cow. So I walked over, scooted the things, and I did this once before, and I told you how to catch a mouse if you have a mouse in your house and it's backed into a corner or something. You get a plastic bag and you put it on the floor. It will run into the plastic bag because it can't see it, and then you can take it outside. Well, when there's a mouse that's not backed into the corner, one of the other things that you can do is actually bend down and pick it up. And it won't, I'm pretty 100% sure it will never bite you because I've never been bitten that way before. And so I kind of bent down, it jumped on me, and I held it on my stomach, and I took it outside, and then I was able to hold it in my hand, and it was kind of like, okay, well, there's no threat, nothing's hurting it. Hold on, he's got something. Oh, the little snot, he's got my knitting needles. Can you hear that? Oh, Alphonse, I just got done saying, hang on, I'm knocking everything over. Hold on. Alphonse, give me the knitting needles. I took them out. I apologize. I took them out to put them on my knitting, and then I didn't put them away. I put them in the knitting basket, which is there, and didn't put the knitting over it, and he found it. So much for him not bothering with the knitting needles, little monster. So anyway, the little mouse, I hope was okay. I did put it outside. I like mice. I'm weird. I just think they need a chance, you know. Maybe something other than a cat, because my cats weren't interested in eating it. They're not hungry. They were just going to torture it. So it's different. You know, if you're, I think if it's in the wild and it's an animal that's eating it, that's a whole nother story, but I don't want to be involved with just torturous killing. So I let it outside. Anyway, it was super cute, and it was just kind of like probably in shock a little bit, you know, in my hand. It was like, oh, okay. And it didn't want to leave, but I made it go outside. So anyway, don't be fearful of mice. They're awfully adorable. And snakes are okay too. I'm sure that this is not a poisonous snake. It looks like a garter snake skin to me. You see these all over the place. I just found this very interesting, how it was all wrapped up like that, because I've never seen that happen before. The things the cats find in the basement. I have holes all over my foundation. So it's no surprise that there's a snake in there, but how's it going to get out? I don't understand. I mean, I know they can climb walls, but that's quite a bit of a wall to climb up to get out. So I'm going to have to go looking for it one of these days. I just don't want it to be surprised. That's all. Snakes usually, I haven't bitten by a garter snake before. It was crossing the street, and I tried to get it out of the street, but I surprised it. Usually if you pick up a snake, they're very friendly. Ribbon snakes, we have ribbon snakes. Well, in Vermont, there was ribbon snake. Garter snakes, corn snakes, the little ones with the coral band around their neck. Those are cute. I don't know what those are called. And they're not poisonous. And if they do, you know, nip at you, it doesn't hurt at all. There's no teeth involved in the thing. It's just kind of like, it's less painful than getting bitten by a chicken. You ever been pecked by a chicken? There's a little bit more force there than a snake bite, unless it's a snake with fangs, and then you don't really want to go playing with those. But most snakes are very nice and friendly, and if you don't hurt them and pick them up and watch at the end of their tail, there's a little secretion sac there, and they will secrete on you, and it stinks really bad, kind of like turtle pee. It's your animal lesson for the day. Sorry. You didn't come here to talk about snakes, did you? Or mice, I'm sorry. Let's see what's up next. So I actually printed a bunch of things because I wanted to be a little more organized, and I wanted to make some project bags and put the things in there so that I could just grab it and go. But I haven't done that yet. And I did select the yarn, and I put that in Ravelry so that I know what yarn is supposed to go with what. So I am going to make the Mie pullover by Sarah Fama, and this is from Knit Scene. It's just a cute little cotton top. It has a little bit of a detail on the corner panel, which I thought was really nice, and it should be just simple. I'm just looking for something simple. Simple, and here's okay, there's a lot. Hi, sweetie. Oops, I moved the other way. Isn't she cute? Isabel, where are you? She's quite beautiful. And she's not going to show you her face. There she is. Is she cute? She's like, I'd rather sleep, leave me alone. So from Verena Knitting, I'm going to make this top called Cancun. I thought that was really nice for summer. I have a bunch of cotton left, DK weight cotton that I want to use. I'm not buying any yarn right now. Oh, that's the bag I haven't made yet. I still haven't made that needle case, but I'm thinking about it more. I want to make this cables and rib jacket by Debbie Bliss. I thought that I had enough yarn for this, but now I don't think that I do. So I have to investigate a little further of what I might have, because I think I looked at the yarn requirements wrong when I picked out that I thought I had the right yarn for that, and I bought yarn for it, and I think it's all wrong. The other thing I want to make is this hexagon petal tee by Maria Lay, and this is in an Interweave magazine, spring 2011. And some people did some really amazing projects with this. Someone made it into a dress, and I thought that was gorgeous. I would like, after I make it as a top, if I liked the construction of it, I would consider making it into the dress, because her dress was really, it was beautiful. It was quite inspirational, but I don't have enough yarn for that. So I would definitely, make the top first and then see if I like it, and then go from there. There's a hooded jacket with no picture. It's from Vogue, and I actually, if any of you remember, before, when I was planning on, and it's still in the works to go to Italy, it's just not happening right this minute. Might be able to go this fall, but not for any length of time. I wanted to make this hooded jacket from Verena Knitting, from Interweave Knits. So I actually cut up all my knitting magazines and scanned them, and so they're in PDF format into my computer so that I can have the patterns without actually dragging stuff around. I did that with some of my favorite books. They're all in PDF format in there, because you cannot buy Vogue Knitting in a PDF book like you can Interweave Knits. Sorry, I can't think. Yesterday was even worse. I totally lost my brain yesterday afternoon. I was feeling kind of weird. Which is a shame, because I don't want to buy each pattern for $6. If I wanted the magazine like you can with Interweave, you can buy the whole magazine. It's on your computer. You have it anywhere you go. You don't have to print it if you don't want to, but I find that lately, with the mistakes that I'm making in knitting and me not thinking clearly, it is just much easier for me to just print it and mark it all up, and then I'm done. I don't have that e-reader thing where you can mark on stuff. I can't even remember what it's called, but I know there's some people that have it. And there's also a cabled collared top by Nora Gone that I want to make, that's in another Vogue Knitting, and next time I'll probably pull it up on the computer so you can see the Ravelry page, because I don't have that up. And then I also want to make this. Is there a big picture of it? This is called the Manesha pullover by Angela Hahn. And I thought the construction was really interesting. So I might, because I don't have a bra that will work with that, I will have to pin it, a little bit more so that I actually have it on my shoulder. So I thought that was interesting, and I thought those would be really cute tops to wear for the summer, and that's kind of what I'm going for now, stuff that I can wear now. I have not touched the Viagante, which I really want to, because that's going to be something that I'll wear in the summer. And I balled up the yarn that let me go get it. Okay. All right, so we're back. So I balled up the yarn, and this is the yarn that I spun a 3-ply, actual 3 plies, not chain plied, of Cheviot. Bought it at Sheep and Wool and spun it up immediately, and then I finally just dyed it recently. And that is not really true. It's a little bit darker, more, I guess that's probably pretty true right there. I thought it was like a fingering weight, but I could be totally wrong. So I am going to do just a little bit of swatching on this before I start. I know it's just a sock, blah, 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 but I would rather just know. I did the yardage, and I'm really short for it being fingering on how much weight it is, but it really looks like fingering. So maybe it's just dense. I'm not too sure, but I thought I'd make these spider socks. And these are a free pattern on Ravelry. And I love spiders, if any of you have listened before. Yes, I like the creepy crawlies. I don't know why, they're cute to me. I enjoy when I see them. And so I thought these socks would be really fun because look, they've got spiders. And they got the spiders falling down. I thought that was really super cute. It's the longest pattern ever. Like, holy cow, 12 pages. I think someone had mentioned that one of the charts might be off a little bit, so maybe to follow the written pattern. I don't know. I haven't really looked any farther into it except for balling up the yarn and getting this far. So I'm going to do some swatching on that. I desperately need some socks, although I wouldn't wear these in the summer. They're a dark color and they're not so happy, but I don't know, I was just intrigued by the spider. So I thought it'd be kind of fun. So that's probably going to happen soon. And what else? I think that's it. I still have to weave in ends on that, a cardigan that I made last year. I'm going to be able to wear it soon because it's 3/4 sleeves. So I better weave in those ends. Maybe I'll have that done and I'll have that on when I see you next, because I don't think I showed it to you on. And what else did I want to talk about? Let's talk about a healthy tip for your cats. Now, like I said yesterday, oh my God, my brain. Like I just said today with Natalia, with this little tick on her chin, and I didn't notice it right away. And those little deer ticks are so tiny that it does, come here, honey. It does take a little while for them to, she's so cute. It does take a little while for them to grow. But it's always good to do a once over on your animal. Just, like feel them all over the place, see what's going on, if there's something that you might need to take care of. And my older cats, I found, are not scratching on things very often at all anymore. They're just not scratching, and I'm like, So, and I usually do their nails about once a month. I trim their nails, and they're so good. These guys, like, I plop them on my lap like this. Sit down, honey. Sit. Oh, no, I'm not hurting you. Sit down. Sit down. That seemed like I was hurting her, but I wasn't. And I take the clippers and I go around. You just aren't happy, are you? I know. So, can you hear her purr? So anyway, check your cat's toenails probably once a month, I would think. Some of my older ones, their toenails, they've always been like this. One of them, her nails will grow right over. So I always have to check hers. And I'm fine now that they're not scratching so much. They're going to need me to trim their nails more often because they're not scratching them off themselves. It almost seems like the nails have, if you've ever seen a nail that when you trim it, the whole outer shell falls apart, and then there's this nicer, newer, fresher nail underneath. I don't think they grow kind of like ours. I mean, they do grow long like that, but I think there's like 2 parts to their nail. Anybody who is a vet or a vet tech and knows exactly how cat toenails work, maybe you might want to chime in. But I found that they all needed their nails trimmed. and I don't think they were going to take care of them on their own. I mean, that's what scratching does when they're scratching and everything, because the kittens were fine. Their nails were tiny and sharp, and I trimmed all of those. You know, you can check their ears, make sure their ears are okay, lift up their gums, make sure that their gums are okay, and just give an all-around health. Like, you can tell when an animal feels good because their body composition is the way it is. When they start losing weight or something, you can feel their bones, or if they're too big, you can tell. So have a look at your cat and see what's going on, or your dog, same thing, just to see where they're at and if they need any assistance with anything. And what else did I want to talk about? I'm not sure now. This is going to be a really quick podcast. Did I have anything else that I wanted to tell you about? I went hiking, which was really fun. I got my membership back to Mohonk, so I'm officially a member again. And that's really fun because I love hiking there. I should be hiking today, but now I've got something else that I need to do after I get this done, so I can't go hiking. But I did go last weekend, and I'm going to go this upcoming weekend, so that's really fun. And did anything else? I've been taking out cooking books. I've been watching a lot of cooking shows and things like that to get inspired by, and it's just so fun to watch people be excited. So if you're ever interested in, sorry, I'm just looking at why people are doing what they're doing in the road. Hang on. That's just really strange. I live on a private street. It's a dirt road, and it horseshoes out, and there's somebody, oh, and here comes the post office. The post person never comes down our street, except for sometimes to drop things off because she's really super nice, and she doesn't even have to. Is she stopping at my house? No, she kept going. Oh, speaking of the post office. I'm so all over the place. Oh, look at the cat, how cute. My license ran out back in December, and so I went to go get my license, and I managed to do it like right at the last minute, and I get there, and then I never got it. And the post office or the Department of Motor Vehicles lost my license, and it never got to me. So then I went back to the post office, and they're like, you have to fill out this big form. I'm like, oh my God. And now you have to pay more money to get your license. And I'm like, oh my God. And so I went to the post office. I'm like, if you see this coming in, please don't lose it. Don't put it in anybody else's mailbox. I'm like, we never saw the other one. We know who you are, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. So I go across the river to a different town instead of staying in my local town, which is where I never go to the DMV. If you have a Department of Motor Vehicles in a smaller town, other than a big town where you live, go there. It's so much easier. So I went back to that town across the river where I had gotten my license in the first place and redid everything. And then I get this notice in the mail that says, I'm sorry, we can't process your photo for some reason. You need to come in and do it again. It's not going to cost you any money. And by the way, that other one didn't charge me as well because they're like, it's not your fault you lost it because you really didn't lose it. And I'm like, oh, you're so sweet. So thank you. So I just had to go today to get my license done again because they had to redo my photo, and it should be coming soon. So it's April. It was December when I first had to redo my license. So it was a long process. So anyway, sometimes my post office doesn't always put the mail in the right spot up there. They're really nice though, so I do like my post office. But it doesn't always mean that I'm going to get my mail. But anyway, someone, I can't tell whose truck. I've got two neighbors that have trucks up there, and they're just parked in the middle of the street, which is really not a problem because nobody ever comes down our road. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that live on the street. It's really cute. I love where I live because it's very private and quiet, and out behind us is all this land, and so I only really see that neighbor there, and only in the winter, because as soon as the summer comes, the trees in between our houses have the leaves, and then I can't see anymore. And I see them across the street, but they're everything, it's not like they're right in my face, put it that way. So it's spread out, although it's still not. They're there if you need you, but they're not like right on top of you. It's beautiful, and there's all that land back there where the deer are and the turkeys and everything else. I saw a lone turkey crossing the street the other day. It was really strange because it was all by itself. And normally you don't see turkeys all by themselves. And I was waiting for more turkeys, and he was just like going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And finally it was like, you need to pick a side. So he went across the street. Hello, sweetness. Look at this little angel face. What else did I want to talk to you about? There is a lot of new stuff coming up, but I can't talk about it yet. So I will talk about it later. That's probably it. How about a healthy tip for us? Let me think. Okay, so I have a perfect example. So I worked a lot. I worked like over 30 some odd hours in 3 days, and most of it was in 2 days, and I was really pretty exhausted. And I was supposed to go hiking over the weekend, and then I decided not to. And I kind of just listened to my body and relaxed, and kind of was like in that moment of, well, what do you really want to do now? You know, sometimes we can have all these grand plans of everything that we want to do, and we have to get it done and check it off our list. But if you really think about it, if you're not really happy about doing it, maybe you should kind of like listen to your body and let your body dictate what you should be doing. So I did clean up a little bit, and I did some of the things that were on my list very gently. And every time I was about to do something, I asked, just really was like, is this really what you want to be doing? And if it was a yes, then I did it. If it was a no, then I was like, okay, well, what would you really like to be doing? Because sometimes I think we try to do too much, and then we push ourselves, and we're like, oh, we should, you know, there's no grand rule to how to live life except for to be happy. And if you don't think like me, then maybe I'm not the podcast for you. But I really do think, like, you know, you should be taking care of yourself and doing what you want to be doing. And, you know, that's kind of how I'm living my life now, because I don't want to live it for anybody else. I just want to, you know, if somebody else says you should be doing something, well, I don't know why. You want to live my life for me, or should I be living my life for me? I think I should be living my life for me. I should be making those decisions, right? So it's kind of like that. It's kind of like being like a cat. Cats do what they want when they want, right? They certainly do. What was the other thing I was going to tell you about? Oh, as you may or may not know, if you've been watching, I do not wash my hair. I have not washed my hair with shampoo for ages, and I only washed my hair with soap when I was trying to get the castor oil out of it. So my hair is pretty healthy, but sometimes I basically rinse it in vinegar. Sometimes it gets a little dry down here on the ends, and so I tried a mask the other day, and it actually worked really nicely. And I was trying to figure out which component. I put 2 things in my hair. Which of the components was the thing that worked the best? So I put an egg yolk in, and I mixed it with aloe vera gel, and I thought maybe it was both of them, but it really wasn't. It was just the egg. So if you've ever do an egg mask, they work really nicely. You just have to make sure when you rinse your hair that you rinse out with lukewarm to cold water and not hot water, because then I guess it makes scrambled eggs in your hair. And it does smell a little bit. I rinsed with vinegar afterwards, but I could a faint smell of eggs. And if that bothers you, I probably wouldn't try it. But if that doesn't bother you, I would give that a try. It actually really made my hair soft and silky, and I would definitely do it again. I tried the aloe vera, just to put aloe vera in the ends and see how that worked, and it didn't do anything at all. So I'm not going to mix the aloe vera anymore in there. I actually use it on my face now as a toner before I do anything. So I'll wash my face, and then I'll put the aloe vera gel on, and then I'll put the stuff on my face that I want to. But that's just another healthy tip for your hair. So I think sometimes the less chemicals, the less you do to it, the less processing, the better off and healthy your hair is. My hair has, since the beginning of this podcast, when did I start this podcast? It's been a little while now. It's going to be 2 years. I haven't cut my hair in 2 years. It grows really, really, really fast. But it's the healthiest my hair's been in a long time too. So who would think that something as cheap as vinegar and egg yolks and sometimes baking soda, if you want to use baking soda on your hair, is the way to go. I mean, I used to spend a lot of money on shampoos and things like that, and to find that I don't need to is pretty awesome. So It's another little tip for you. Just looking at the cats. What else did I want to tell you? I'm just looking around the room. I thought maybe there might be something else. I haven't done any artsy stuff in a while. I really was planning on it, and I put it on my, I usually write what I want to get done, the stuff I have to get done. Like there's some things like pay this bill, that kind of thing. There's that in my calendar, but then there's just the things that I would like to do, and that's kind of how I do it. I have this amount of time, I could get this done if I wanted to. So is that something that I want to do when the time comes? I do have a bunch of stuff that I've got to do now, so I'm going to get that done, which is something that I feel like doing. What else do I want to tell you? Was I going somewhere with that? I apologize, because I'm really just not, I don't have any notes. There's no notes in my hand whatsoever. I thought I was going somewhere with that, but I could be wrong. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Forgive my scatteredness. Maybe, there's going to be a lot that I'm going to have to talk to you about next week or in 2 weeks, because a lot is going to happen within those 2 weeks, which is very, very nice. A lot of good stuff. So I just don't want to preempt anything by saying anything right this minute, but a lot of good news coming up. So there'll be that. Oh, the art. So, jeez. So I had it on the possible list of things to do, and I still didn't feel like it at that point. I feel like I need to be inspired when I do art. I am not an artist by trade or by study. It's all, just what I feel when I'm in that mode, and I have to be in that mode in order to make it work. So that's what I look for when I'm in that mode. And I haven't been inspired. So I need to look through my photos, and I want to draw my photos instead of drawing other people's photos. There was an art contest a while ago, last year I think it was, but it was all based on original stuff, and I had some beautiful things that I could show, but they were of photos that someone else took. They were my inspiration, so I couldn't submit them. So I think I'd like to go through some of my photos and find something that I can draw that will be completely my own. That would be fun. All in good time. So anyway, I will talk to you in a couple of weeks, and happy knitting.